Limited, Wipro Technologies DE Exports in India Private Limited, LV Prasad Eye Institute, and Koili Limited for Medmix Soap, Himalaya Soap Company, Mahindra and Mahindra, John Deere, Hindustan and Unilever Limited, and Sign India Private Limited. Sir, I request you for this session, sir. I welcome you for the session.
Thanks, madam, for the introduction. So, good morning, friends. So, it was nice to have you to take over my session. So, most probably in another 1.5 hour, actually got a very hectic task. These 3 sessions are actually 3 different sessions, which I take 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour. But giving you the basics and all information as requested by Mohammed sir, I have agreed for the session, and I have given you maximum out of this session. I want to give you maximum out of this session, and also give you maximum information from this. So hope you all have some good sessions yesterday by Dr. Ravi Kumar. Mostly I will be in touch with him for different experiments what he does in NIT Warangal, and he has a metal printer which was installed by VSD 3D only there. So these things were parts and parcel of our daily routine things where we have the solutions giving to different people, and also different people will be taking different ideas and we will be executing. So today's session majorly I'm focusing on session on FDM, SLA and 3D scanner demo session. See, majorly because of this pandemic we are not able to show you the printer in live, but I want to make you at least get satisfied what the printer is and how we do the settings and how these things will work. I'll be showing you the videos, and also I'll be showing you some of the major informations about FDM and also scanner and also SLA printer. Scanner and FDM both are videos which we have taken at their respective labs. SLA printer I am showing you through Formlabs video. So this will be my session for next 1.5 hours. So just getting into deep what all about. Yesterday we might have got the information from Dr. Y. Ravi Kumar or any other speaker. But coming to this session today, what are the different techniques which we talk about? Different techniques is FDM, SLA, SLS, SLM, PJP, binder jet, LOM and clip. So you all know there are so many techniques under 3D printing umbrella. You have almost 13 technologies which we talk about, techniques which we talk about. FDM I'll be showing anyhow, SLA anyhow I'm showing, and SLS and SLM. SLS is also for the polymer, but the input material is basically the powder bed, which will be making you powder bed will with the laser will make the particles mixed, and then it forms the object. So today's my session is majorly on FDM and SLA and 3D scanner. I'm not going into deep of these technologies, but just as a basic I'm just giving you information about SLS, SLM. SLM is for purely metal based. Powder will be there, laser will be hitting the powder, and then it will be forming the object. That is metal printing what we talk popularly in the market. Next is PJP. PJP is next resin based and multicolor printing, where your resin will be exposed to ultraviolet and it will be forming the object. Bit similar to SLA, but it is differently because the polyjet will be having a lot of 4000 nozzles which will be sprinkling the material, and then the ultraviolet will be solidifying it. PJP is the one. And next one is binder jetting. Binder jetting is one more technology which we use for the pharmaceutical manufacturing, and this is also coming up in a large scale where we are going to get the information about. And next one is laminated object machining. This is one more technology where we have paper, and then a blade will be cutting that paper, and then it will be forming the object. And clip is the advanced technology and patented technology. SLA technology, we see the printer printing the object very slowly with laser, but clip is very fast, where it has the oxidation reaction to make the things faster, 125 times faster than the SLA technology. So this is a brief about 3D printing. And also we should talk about the advantages before I getting into deep of the demo session about today's session. So, advantages of 3D printing is large. There is no need of large setup or procedures which we need to do with CNC, tooling, die creation, milling, lot of processes, milling, drilling, so cutting. So these processes are nowhere there where we have a 3D printer on your hand. We can directly complete the process and get the things out. So there is no need of large setup in 3D printing process. So next is the limitation. What are the limitations in 3D on what are the limitations? Sorry, there is no limitations on complexity and creativity. Majorly, the major thing which I am working about is you have an idea, you can execute in any of the 3D modeling software, get the project object out, and then you can 3D print. So directly, if you take the for example, we have so many softwares like 3D Maya, Ansys, Catia. You can just design your file, take the file out of it, and then you can save the file and you can print it without any complexity. If you go to the regular manufacturing, it is very tough to get the thing, get the object out in minimum time, and also complexity issues will be always there. So that is where 3D printing has the biggest advantage. There is no limitation of the creativity or complexity. Next is shorter time to the fabrication. Same thing. So shorter time to the fabrication is when we think about the object of the design and then we are getting the object into your hand. The complete fabrication time is very less in 3D printing. That's where you have the highest advantage, and you have the 3D printing being giving you the shorter time to fabrication. And also next one is possibility of mass customization. Possibility of mass customization is, see, you have for example, possibility of mass customization is only thing. See, whichever you think in your design, you can customize it. For example, you have design of a mouse. On mouse, you can just have your name printed in the 3D printing. You can do that. You can design itself. You can change the design names, and then we can customize it as per your need, and then we can 3D print. And then coming to the next advantage is multi-material option. See, multi-material option, first and foremost thing is multi-material options will be like a combination of PLA and ABS. See, both combination of PLA and ABS, sorry, combination of multi-material options of IBS and PLA means, see, if you have a temperature range of a materials like PLA and ABS, you have 160 degrees of 160 to 180 degrees of PLA material melting point, and then ABS 250 to 260 degrees centigrade melting point. You can try and join the both materials. Means there is an option of combining the both materials, which we cannot do it in some of the conventional manufacturing. It will be very tough to control the material properties. And then next one is 3D printing limitations. Also we have to talk. See, 3D printing, you all will feel, oh, it is advanced technology. But still, as a technology, it has some limitations. See, if you see, there are a lot of limitations in 3D printing also. It is a very slow process. Still, it has to be improved, and it is going on. People are doing a lot of research on how we can make it faster, and still the 3D printing is slower only when compared to other traditional manufacturing. If you go to the injection molding, in 10 seconds you can manufacture 20 to 30 bottle caps, but you can't do any manufacturing at the level of no, we can't do that manufacturing in that slow things when you go for the especially the 3D printing. We have to take half an hour to 45 minutes while we are going for a printing process. Sorry. Next one is surface issues. See, surface issues, we need post-processing. We have post-processing issue, like post-processing need to be done, and also you have a very rough surface. In video today, I'm going to show how rough surface will come in the 3D printing. And next one is applicable for the smaller quantity. We can't go for large quantity. Still, we have only batch processing being done, where we have some after the prototyping we can look at the smaller quantities of smaller quantities we can print, and then we can get it. And then limited by the types of input material. We can input materials, for example, you can't combine polymer and metal. So that's why the types of input material, that's why I'm talking about. So these are the limitations and advantages of 3D printing. So next, I want to get into one major thing, like what are the sources. See, we all talk about 3D printing, everything, but people should know what are the sources from where we can start the 3D printing idea or additive manufacturing idea. See, there are three major sources what we all talk about today. One of the major session is about scanner also. So there are three major sources. As I am telling, there are 3D design softwares where you design your file, and save the file in .stl format. Select the tessellation language format, and then you get this STL file for the 3D printer. And then we have to pass on STL file to this processing software, and then we can 3D print it. So in that way we can do. And also there is one more source where we have so many websites which are giving the STL file. For example, there is a website called Thingiverse. In this you have a lot of STL files. There is no need of doing the design and then create the STL file. From there you can take the files, means which is appropriate or which is a sizable thing, and those things which can be adopted for your present use. So you can just download the file from the website called Thingiverse, and then you can take the input for the 3D printer. That is the second source which I am talking about. And third important source is, for example, you don't have a design, you don't have again a website, you don't have a relevant file in the website, and I don't know how to do, but you have an object in your hand and you want to make that be 3D printed, or you want to reproduce that object, then you can take a technology called reverse engineering or 3D scanning, and then you can scan the part and then you can print it. So today my session, I am just getting into it. So as I told you, source one of design softwares, we have a lot of design softwares like AutoCAD, Inventor, Creo, ANSYS, SolidWorks, Maya, Rhino, SketchUp, JevelCAD, and Electrical CAD, etc. So many software designing softwares are there. You can take any of the designing software and then you can go for the 3D printing. So that's what I told. Save the file after you design in any of the 3D modeling designing softwares, and then you can save the file in .stl format and then take the file in. And then I told you the second one is, you can take the pre-existing files in the website and then save it as a STL format. So that is one more source where you can take it and then you can print it. And next one is a 2D drawing can be converted into 3D also. There is a source and there is a website, Image Converter, where your 2D drawing will be converted into 3D drawing, and then you can save the file in STL format and then use it. So I'm just getting into reverse engineering. So I have told you, right, when you have a part in your hand and you need a design and you want to design it on it, or else you want to print that or replicate that particular design, then you have to use a technology called reverse engineering or 3D scanning technology, and then you can have it. So today I'll just take you through two videos today, and I'll show you how this is a courtesy by Think 3D. There is a scanning lab in Vizag, which is my old company, which will be showing you the complete range of scanning, like A to Z. You have all scanning from Sense, a basic scanner which is around 70 to 80,000, and then to a range of 45 lakh scanners are there in this lab. You can just have a glance on the lab and see, and I'll explain you the scanner in between the videos. Mohammed sir, audio is coming. Mohammed sir.
Yes, sir. Audio is coming, sir.
Yeah.
Now these are the handheld 3D scanners, and this is Sense from 3D Systems. It uses photogrammetry with depth sensor technology. And this is Einscan Pro Plus from Shining 3D. It uses white light technology and it has an accuracy up to 100 microns. This is Artec EVA. It also uses white light technology and it has an accuracy of 100 microns. Now these are the desktop type scanners. This is Solutionix C500 from Medit. It is a blue light scanner. It has an accuracy of 10 microns. This is Einscan SC from Shining 3D. It has an accuracy of 100 microns and it uses white light technology. Now this is an intraoral scanner from Medit. It has an accuracy of 5 microns and it uses blue light technology. Now this is Absolute Romaran from Hexagon. It has both scanning and probing inbuilt. It uses laser technology and it has an accuracy of 40 microns. let's see a demo of this 3D scan. Here, we're going to scan a filter of an air compressor using a Selifnic C500 scanner. Being a desktop scanner, it has a rigid scanner head, and the object is placed on a 3-axis rotating table where these rotations are controlled by a scan path set in the software. The scan path can be customized based on the features on the object and the regions to be scanned. As this is an optical-based scanner, it has a light source or projector which projects the lights onto the object, and it has 2 receivers which receives the reflected light from the object. So let's set the scan path and start the 3D scanning.
If you see this video which you are observing, this is the scanning which will be happening where the light source, as explained in the video, the base will be scanning, and then you see the topmost light being moving, and then your base is continuously rotating to make the object on the screen on the left side. In the left side, if you see, you have the left side, you have scanner being done, and then the output is coming into the system. So this is how the scanning will be happening. If you see the mesh being generated and the output is coming. So if you see from the basic of this video, I'm just explaining you. See, if you see the range of scanners which we talk about, we have this sense scanner. See, we have a lot of scanners in our place where we have multiple scanning being done, and then this thing. See, what is the difference between each and every scanner? See, sense scanner, if you see, that is for the educational version where your scanning will be done at an accuracy about 50 to 100 microns, where your face scanning or a basic scanning can be done, and this scanner is helpful for knowledge purpose and also education related purpose. That's where the sense scanner is being used. And next level which I'm showing in the video is, the first one is Sense, right? Second one is Einscan Pro. This Einscan Pro is having this reflection, means the quality reflection and the capture of the object will be ranging. In this next video, I'm going to show the Einscan Pro, which is a very good scanner, and also that scanner output scanner outputs will be excellent, and that ranges from even 15 microns to 50 microns. So this Einscan Pro Plus is from China, and also this is used for the industrial purpose and also for the exact dimension and complicated objects, because this is a blue light. We get the blue light coming out of it, and it gives the accurate, and then this cost of scanner will be around 6 to 9 lakhs depending on the variant. And also you have a color module in the scanner where your face or the object color also can be scanned, and then you can take that output and then use it for our 3D printing also. You know all about the 3D printing has multicolor output also. And next one is Artec EVA. So this scanner is there in our Hyderabad Usmania University also, where they are using in the CPDDM lab, and they are generating the outputs same as it will be having the output of 20 microns to 50 microns, and then this is used for all applications, and this is very faster scanner. It has some frames of 1 million per 5 seconds or something in that range, and then the capturing of the object in this Artec EVA is more excellent, and the output is very good from this Artec EVA scanner. And then next one is Solution X, which we talk about in the video I was talking about, which my colleague in Think 3D is talking about. This one. See, this is a very high resolution scanner which can give you an output of 10 microns also. This is a Solution X company. This is from the Medet company, which is used for high scanning purposes. Like if you see this scanner has a rotatory table which is a three-dimensional axis which will be rotating as per the light requirement in coordination with the light requirement, and it will be scanning the object. This scanner is a lot more used in regularly industrial, high-end industrial purposes. And next one is, this one is also Einscan, which video was screening, but this light technology is not having that much high accuracy. This is an inbuilt rotating table. If you see, this is a small setup. This is also for the education version. This is called Einscan Pro SE. This model is also having the accuracy up to 100 microns. It is also for the education, and also this light rows, you see there is two lights, two cameras with one light will be capturing the object, and then we get the output. And then this one, if you are seeing in the image, this is an intraoral scanner. I don't know whether anybody has taken the CT scan from the dental doctors. They will be using this scanner. This will be kept in the mouth, and then you can get the teeth output, and we can have that particular impressions. If you see in the image, the impressions will be there, and then you can get the output of this particular scanner. And then next one is the hexagon. This is a foremost advanced scanning technology where we use an arm to detect the output of the, you take the output out of it, and then we use the image, and then this is a laser light. Major difference between the other scanners and this one is more accurate, and laser light will be there, but still we have the output coming in very nice ways, because this is the only SolutionX scanner which is giving 5 to 10 microns also. Sometimes it gives 5 microns also for the object, and then it will be giving the output. So you can see the left screen, the screen is now, camera is projecting on it, and then the light will be projecting on it, and then you see the rotating table moving all the directions in all the axes to make sure the complete object is being scanned. And then the major line of 3D scanning is one light will be projected, and the light diffraction is being generated as an image or a file on the back end of the system, and then the output is being generated. So that is the how the complete scanning will be happening. If you see on the left side of the screen, you have this pink color output coming out after the light being focused on the system, and then it is being checked, and then the system is more accurate, and all the intricates and then all the movements can be done. You may be feeling how we can mount this particular object. We have some mount points on that particular base where we can fit the object. And suppose you may have the doubt whether we can how we can do the beneath area of the object. See, we can, this is how we will be doing it, and afterwards we rotate the object and keep on the base table, and then we scan it again. System automatically takes the particular object in all the areas, and a base also getting scanned, and then you will be getting the output from it. So this is how the scanner works, and the scanner principle will be the same. And then I have told you about Einscan, so you can just have a glance on the same Einscan system, which is, this is a company video, but I am trying to make you sure that you understand better, because the scanning thing can be done in different ways. If you see, there are so many ways which we do scanning. This is how, this is a handheld scanner where it can scan any of the object. Now it is scanning a seat, and then it is taking all the data into the system, and then you get the output. See, this is how we get the quality. The quality of the object will be excellent. You will not imagine how much good quality you will be getting. Even the face structures or facial, these things also will be getting very thick. And also, you may be having a doubt. Can we use a reflective surface? No, reflective surface we can't scan, because the light will be reflecting back and you will not get the output out of it. So, and coming to the architectural scanning. See, we have architectural scanning also. We can do. We can have the outputs, and then we can take the outputs of it, and then process it. See, this is how, this is one of the processes thing where we have scanned it, and then we can take it. This is an architectural thing. You can take that particular image, and then you can scan and then make that preservative, and even you can save the file in .stl format. Then you can print as per your requirements, and then you can, but your image may, your ideal may be destroyed, but your soft copy of the ideal will be existing as it is, as a soft copy you are seeing on the screen. Coming to the complex structures or symmetric structures. In the symmetric structures, we have to put small dotted labels and then we scan the object, because dotted labels gives you a clear pattern and then we can get the output of it. In this example, in the video which you are seeing, which will be giving the multicolor object also, which we can scan and then we can get the multicolor output also from the scanners. So that is the way we can scan the objects and then we can take the file and then we can save the file in the 3D printing format. So this is how we scan the object, and this is the scanning thing which we discuss about, and then the scanning objects will be done like these things. So before getting into the next thing, so I just want to take any questions on scanning, because I am going to the FDM and SLA demo that is a bit different. Sir, Mohammed sir can open for 2 minutes or 5 minutes for the questions, so that I can close this scanning thing and then go to the next level.
Sure, sir, sure. Yes, all the participants are requested to ask questions or any queries regarding these scanners. So the first question will be my only, sir. Sir, for different applications, for different accuracies, we use different scanners. That's only the reason.
Yes. Yes.
So for
Yes,
optical,
see-
we have different user for production of taking the reverse engineering of complex.
Correct,
structures,
correct.
We have different users in terms of accuracy, in terms of color, shade, and the appearance. We have different users.
Yeah, see, to explain you in deep, I have shown you different ranges of scanners. See, for example, for medical purpose, dental, there are separate scanners. Coming to engineering applications and smaller applications, like which we can mount on the build plate and then do it, we can have some scanners. And also, if you want to do freehand scanning, which I have shown as a car being scanned, that particular scan also you can do it. But the ranging of the accuracies, see, depending upon your requirement and the complexity of the object, we can take two things. First and foremost thing is whether we have to go for handheld scanner or we have to go for the fixed scanner. If you want more accurate and then highest dimension accuracy, you have to go for the fixed mode, which will be giving the excellent output. Coming to the handheld scanning, there is a chance of hand being shaking or something, so the accuracy may be differing. So coming to your requirement, coming to the basic of dental, we can go with the dental scanning, but engineering applications, we all talk about 50 microns, 10 microns. So depending, as I am telling you, we can have different range of applications, but engineering, depending upon your object accuracy you need, you can opt for any of the scanners which I have shown you. Hope I have answered your question, Mohammed.
Yes, sir, sure. Sir, it is Einstein Pro comes in various various qualities or different specifications. Depends on purpose.
Correct.
Or we get the same single Einstein Pro for single scan, single tap of scan.
Yes. Yes, there are 2 to 3 variants in Einstein Pro, sir. Because and also, if you see the light wavelength, means up to a range of reflection and then capturing. So the major difference will be there in the variant of capturing and also the accuracy, how it forms the object and how fast it forms the object. If I have shown you in the earlier video, it is there is a Aqua Spider in our Usman University CPDDM also we have Aqua Spider or Eva they have.
I've seen
That scanner, in that scanner, these frames per second will come into play. That's where your scanner will have different requirements. For example, faster scanning will have faster and accurate scanning will have different variant, and slow and fixed mode scanning will have different variants. So we have 2 different variants on this scanning. Yeah.
There is one question from Prashant, sir. Is there any difference in the scanning accuracy with different scanner?
Different scanning with?
Different
Pardon?
accuracy. Again, the same question which you have delivered in the session. Is there any difference in the scanning accuracy with the different scanners? Suppose
Yeah, yeah.
with
Sir,
different scanners, we have different accuracies or not, he's asking. But anyhow, we have
correct. See, we have different accuracies, we have different scanners. I have told you, right? There is a 50 micron scanner, we have 100 micron scanner, we have 10 micron scanner. So depending, we have different accuracies. Sir. Yeah.
yes. Any other more questions so that we can proceed further?
Any chat box questions, sir?
No, sir. Till now, this is the only question. Okay, we can proceed further, sir. I think they have got good. They have cleared all. They have cleared all
Hello,
the doubts.
Yes, yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
हाँ बोलिए. Hello.
I'm Dr. Zahir Hassan. Basically, I'm interested to know the regarding the strength of the product eh, eh, through 3D printing.
Yeah, but the topic here is going on the scanning, sir. We're going to have that session in the next upcoming session.
Okay.
Further.
Sir, after half an hour or 45 minutes, can I have the 3D printing session, sir? Because I'm closing the scanner right now.
Sure, sir. You can proceed, sir.
Yeah. So fine, guys. So you got a brief idea about scanning, I believe. So I'm just getting slowly into the FDM, which we are thinking to have more knowledge, and then we have to have the clear information on it, where we think more about the 3D scanning and everything. We got the file done, and then how we print in a 3D printer. First and foremost question, people will be thinking, okay, I have a design file in my college, I have we have the ANSYS Pro E, CATIA, we have a lot of things which we have the, taking the file, and then we are 3D, ready with the STL file. What next? See, first and foremost, after your 3D model is ready and your STL file is ready, next two important stages which you have to consider is these two: slicing software and then slices and then toolpath. Okay, what is all this all about? See, slicing software. See, slicing software, before slicing software, you should understand, before slicing software, we should understand what is FDM and what it does. So I'll just give you a brief information. See, FDM, you all know what we do and what are the settings we'll be having, and then what we regularly do, because people all know about FDM technology. Because it is a layer by layer approach to form the object. We give the wire input, and then it will be coming out as a form of a small droplets on the build plate, and then it will be printing on the build plate. And then see, a 3D printer will never understand any of the it will not understand anything. Like, it will only understand, basically it will understand only if you see my video, hope you are seeing my video, this bottom, top, and then shell, and then infill area. It will understand only these things: bottom, top, shell means outer area, and then infill area. So any object we see in 3D printing, it will be considering as bottom, top, shell, and then infill area. So we have only these things. 3D printer understand only things: bottom, top, shell, and then infill area. So we don't have any other understanding which it will take, because bottom, top, and shell and infill areas are the one which will be understood by the 3D printer. So that's where you should understand on the part which is how we can means whether the part is whether the part bottom is clear or top is clear or shell is clear or infill is clear. So once we understand that, our
What is
slices are,
going on?
pardon, sorry, any issue, sir?
No, sir. There is some questions. What about the surface defects, voids, micro cracks while scanning? That's about the scanner. So we can proceed further, and we can have different. On the last session, we're going to have the question and answer session. No problem, sir. You can proceed.
Okay, fine. I'll take up this question in the questions or question answer sessions. Yeah, like at the last. So, as I was discussing, see, slicing software. See, we have the CAD model, STL, and the slicing software. 3D printer understands only bottom, top, shell, and infill area. Only these things it can understand. It will not understand any other parameters. So, I'll just take the things into Cura software. Hope you are seeing my screen, sir, or only PPT is getting shared.
No, sir,
Mohammed,
your
sir?
screen is visible. Your screen is visible, sir. You can continue.
This bottle is being seen, right?
No, no, sir, no, no. Only PPT is visible, sir.
Only PPT is seeing.
Yes, sir.
1 second, sir. I'll just take the things.
Now it is visible, sir. Kira,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So you are seeing one bottle. One bottle you are seeing very clearly. This we are going to 3D print. Okay, correct. So if you see here, we understand 3D printer understand only bottom, this area. Only this bottom area it understands. Top area understands. Infill, the shell what you are talking, the complete bottle, everybody knows about the bottle, and bottle has. Now you see one object, I am taking it. This will have some certain infill area. Means if you see, you have 3D printer. We have this object. If you see this object, we have bottom, top, and then shell in and infill area. So we have different shell and infill areas which we are getting on the base, and then top and then infill area. So just what I want to give you the information is you should understand bottom, top, and shell in infill areas which we have to clearly define in the object before we go for this slicing software. So getting into the, you are seeing a screen here. This screen is called Cura software. This is an interface between your 3D model which you have designed in a 3D modeling software, and if you save the file in .stl format, that particular STL format, you have to get that file into the system. You have seen my screen where I am saving the file in .stl format, and then that file will be coming into the system like this. And this system has a lot of parameters. As I told you, we have a lot of parameters which we have to see. We have layer height. We see briefly. I talk about. I don't want to take much time. I'll just show you the brief information which is basically needed for all people. Quality, shell, infill, material, speed, travel, support, cooling system, and then build shell. So these are the parameters which we talk in all the 3D printers. You can talk in any of the 3D printers. You can talk all the 3D printers. You have to have these parameters in your mind. As I told you now, bottom, top, shell, and infill area in the perspective of the model which you want to print. In the perspective of the system which we have to understand, means we have to get a good quality. Then this good quality systems, you have to give these systems, these parameters which we have to give. See, layer height. What is layer height? See, you all know how the 3D printer works, but I'm just playing a video for you to make sure you understand better. So you are seeing a 3D, sir. Hope my video is audible, Mama sir. Video is visible, right?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Visible.
Yeah. See, this is a 3D printer Ender series. What we talk about. If you see, this 3D printer has a build plate, and then you have a nozzle here. this nozzle is the one. This is the nozzle which place nozzle is the place where a material will be extruded, and then this is the build plate area where your part will be 3D printed, and this is the area where your complete feedback system will be giving from A to Z. What is the temperature and everything. And then in this, I'm just preparing you the system of the 3D printer before I get that software system, that Cura software. To understanding you more better, I'm just showing you the printer video now so that you will be more clear on the lines. All the settings we keep, nozzle temperature and everything. Depending upon the melting point of the print material, we have to give the temperature settings here. Some of the materials doesn't require bed temperature. Some materials require bed temperature. Like PLA material, we have bed temperature. So same thing. Once we start the things, we see the material you see nozzle getting heated up, and then this, you see this nozzle getting heated up slowly from we have set it to 15 degrees centigrade. Nozzle gets heated up, and then build plate gets heated up to 60 degrees centigrade, and it forms layer by layer to form the object. So how we insert a material into the printer? So this is how, this is a wide form. I told you material gets inserted into the nozzle slowly by this. You see here, material slowly gets into it. We take that spring action and then we push the material up to the nozzle, and then we release it. You see, once the material touches the nozzle, material will be coming out of the nozzle like this. These are the small drops of material which is coming out in a liquid, semi-liquid form. It will be coming out from the nozzle like this, and then it will be falling on the build plate. You see, slowly the printer starts printing from the, because material just touches the build plate and then it starts on the layer. On the build plate, you can see the layer by layer. Slowly, it will be layering on the build plate, and then it will be printing it layer by layer to form the object. This is how the complete FDM talks about it. Small droplets from the nozzle will be falling on the build plate to form the object. So finally, you see the object being, while printing, after printing, the object will be coming out like this. So you are seeing all the post-processing we do, and then we get the final output like this. So if you so to get into the hope you have the now got an idea what what a 3D printer will be taking the things all about. So coming back to the Cura software. Coming back to the Cura software, if you see, coming back to the Cura software, as I told you, right? Layer means the layer by layer to form the object. So first layer, it will be building on the build plate, and then next layer will be building on the build plate. Layer height is nothing but the distance between one layer to the another layer. So hope you are getting one layer to the another layer means the distance between the one layer to another layer is the layer quality or layer height or anything. Means the quality will be more if your distance between the layer is very less. If your distance between the layer is more, the object will be looking ugly as I shown in the video. Because we printed it in fast, the distance between the layer is more and your object quality will be worst. And if your object quality is good means your distance between the layer will be very less. How we can define it? In this, we can give 0.06, 60 microns we can give, or we can give up to 600 microns also, 600 microns also. But you should be very clear while you are giving the object layers, like which distance we have to maintain, which is the distance, what is the quality we are expecting on it, what is the quality expecting on it, and then what is the output of it. So layer height is very important parameter in 3D printing slicer software, where your object quality will be seen on these lines. And then shell, I told you, right? We have this small elephant here. See, this complete outer area, even this one or this area or the elephant or the ears, everything, whichever is seen in the front view, because all are mechanical people, front view and then top view and the side view is this shell, not the top view, sorry. All the front view, side views, right side view, left side view, and for rear view is called shell. Simply we can term it like that. This complete area, shell means the complete area, the complete side things of the object. As I told you, bottom layers and top layers. This is bottom layers. Top layers are which are the last printable areas are called top layers. So in this shell also, outer wall extruder and internal wall. See, outer side there will be a layer, but inner side will be a layer, and then infill area. Means if you see, I'll just slice you and show in simulation. Hope you should understand it clearly. See, you see some areas here. This is outer shell and inner shell, and then you have one more. You have all hexagon lines here. This is called infill area. Bottom you have seen, top you have seen. While printing, this is simulation where you see the object being printed like this, layer by layer to form the object. Finally, these are the top layers. These are the base layers, and slowly when printer prints slowly, this is the top view you are seeing. If I show you the side view, this is how layers will be building. Hope you are getting me. Hope you all people are getting the idea how the complete 3D printing will be. So this is the top layers. So this is how the printer slowly from base, I told you bottom layers, all infill layers, all shell and infill area will be there, and finally it will be coming and printing like this. So this is how the complete means layers will be seen in the system, and then printer will be printing. So I have told you about quality, like layers means once we take the layers from base, 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers and everything, if your distance between the layers right now, we have taken the quality as 60 micron. For example, if I take it as 600 microns. Now I am taking as 60 microns. Layers, number of layers will be increasing. If you see, now the slicing engine is slicing the system. If your layer height is less, your quality will be excellent. If your layer height is more, your quality will not be good. So that is the major phenomena which you should understand while you are 3D printing any of the object. Also, it is slicing. I'll just come back to it. I have already spoken about shell, right? We have one more called infill. I have shown you in the video, right? Internally, there is an area where it has a zigzag lines. Means you have a hexagon lines, and then we have triangles in that particular thing. I have given a triangle in that. That's why it was showing triangles. We have multiple infill pattern. That is the area which is in between the bottom, top, shell, and in between the area which is between the object of bottom, top, and shell. In between the area is called the infill area. So that infill area you have to you can give as a hollow also. If you give 50% infill, it will take in 50% infill. If you take 10% infill, it will take 10%. See, if you have seen here, the layers are increased by 1744. Previously it was 175. Because of the microns which we have changed in the quality, that's why your quality will be completely different when compared to this system. See, if you see the layers here, now I'm talking about infill area, right? This is infill area. Hope you are, now it is quite clear because I have changed this is infill area. Hope you are all following. This is infill area, this is shell, and then this particular area which is beneath on the base is bottom and top one is that one. So this is infill area. If I now it is 20%. If I increase the infill to 50%, your triangles also will be changing, and then your slicing will be completely changed, and your timelines will be different because you are taking more time to increase the strength of the object, or your infill area infilling is becoming more and more. So infill is always very important. See, if you want a hollow object internally, if it is hollow, its strength is very less. Once you catch it tightly, it will be breaking it off. And if you for example, if you see the infill area increase it to 100%, it is having 100% strength, and the object will be having very strong, and also weight of the object will be more. So the infill system or infill pattern is very, very important, where we have to check the infill systems, and then quality has to be very good on this line. So strength will be high. You see, I have increased the infill, and then your time also has been increased because it is consuming more material also. It was 90 grams previously. Now I have increased the infill. If you see the lines previously and now, your triangles have increased more and more, and internally the strength of the object has increased more, and then to get the output of it. So this is how the infill will be increasing, and your quality of the object will be increased, and then strength will be increased if your infill parameter is being changed and the system is good on these lines. And next parameter which I have to discuss is material. See, material which are the material you are giving as an input, you have to feed the same material temperature, melting point or printing point, or temperature or everything. Means the material which you are giving, you have to match the parameters which all we give in this system. So initial layer you can control. So I don't want to get into deep of the systems, because this is the basic settings which I am giving. You can even control single layer also in 3D printing. That is the advanced stage of 3D printing, where you can take to the next level of 3D printing, and then you can do it on these lines. So coming to these things like build plate temperature, build plate initial layer, standby temperature, these things, nothing you need to understand. You just understand which material you are keeping, what is the temperature of the material, melting point of the temperature material, whether we have to give bed temperature or not. And next one is speed. Depending upon the speed, your object will be printed. Again, the quality will be coming into play. If you increase the speed or decrease the speed, your quality will be getting affected. If your layer height is less, you have to give the speed as less. If your layer height is more, you have to give the layer height has to be high. You can give the high speed also, but quality will not be there. So print speed and the layer height both are proportional, you should be giving the same parameters. Means, for example, high speed, high resolution, or high layer height, and slow speed you can give both. Means when you want a good quality object, you have to give very less speed and then less layer height, you get the quality. So speed is also very, very important point which you have to consider. See, travel is nothing but nozzle printing multiple objects. Then you will be getting multiple things which you have to consider, and then you have to give multiple speeds at one area. For example, you have one elephant here, there is one more elephant. When nozzle is printing this elephant, when it is moving from this elephant to this elephant, there is a travel time which there is no need of extrusion. So that speed from this point to another point, it can increase the speed, and then it can develop the object. And then coming to the travel, means material with travel or without travel speeds, enable retraction. These settings are very, very deep settings which we can understand once you understand the basics. Coming to this travel speed and everything, this is the basic thing which I want to give you. Travel speed can be increased where nozzle is not extruding the material, and then you can take it forward. Cooling is not the thing. Cooling will be automatically taken by the system. And next most important thing is support. See, if I talk about support, for example, in this I am not getting any supports because this object is in such a way that you don't have that particular support. For example, I rotate the object in different system. If I rotate the object in different system, then it requires support. It's nothing but a small pillars we place while we are building our rooftop. So there you have this more support material, and support needs to support which is generated can be peeled off. In my previous video I have shown you, we have taken supports and then supports are removed in the video which I have shown you. So I'll just share the video again to make you more understand on the slides. So this is how the supports all about. See, I'm right now, if you see the video, these are the support materials which I have told you in this previously, which before printing we give the supports like this. These supports will be removed in the post processing and to get the quality of the object. So we use different post-processing techniques to make the part more clear, and then we see more support, and then we get the object like this. So these are honeycomb structures. Actually, these honeycomb structures will have good output. Like it is not having much strength. It will be just a support, and then it will be a good support to develop the object. Actually, that is how we remove the supports, and then we get the object out of the printer, and then we remove the supports like this. So this is a worst print like 600 microns. If you keep, this will be the output because you get a lot of layers and everything on the screen. And then coming back to the PPT. As I told you, the complete PPT, hope FDM is clear, where I have explained a maximum infills and supports and temperature. I've already given the information. So to the last topic, SLA, which I have to give as a part of the session today. So we all talk about a lot of things in the resins also. So to get in deep about that one, I'll just play a video and try to explain you on the
SLA system. Depending on.
So this SLA, what is this SLA? Stereolithography, what we call it, or DLP, what we call it as digital light processing, and we have multiple terminology in 3D printing. So we have SLA, FDM, so we have a lot of technologies, but each technology has its own quality. Each technology has its own impact on the different requirements of the industry or the output of the objects are used, because this particular technology takes resin as its input material, means the liquid resin which will be taken as an input material, and then the object will be formed. In the FDM you have seen the wire form melting, and then it is layering it, and then it is giving the output. If you see in this SLA, we call it resin as its input material, and you have seen nozzle moving here and there, right? Here laser will be hitting the object as per our design. And if you see the video here which I am playing, the resin will be poured into the tank, and then this is the build plate which you are seeing on the screen. This is the build plate which will be into the build tank. This is complete build tank, and this build plate will be getting into the build tank, and then it will be hitting the resin like this. And what happens inside, if you see, there will be a laser. This is the laser. Laser will be hitting the build plate. If you see here, see, this is hitting the build plate like this. You have seen the outer build plate getting immersed into it, right? You see the laser hitting the build plate, and then the resin, which is a photopolymer. In other ways, SLA and DLP, we call it as photopolymerization also. I will share the video how it is what is happening inside that chemical. But first and foremost, just understand what is this SLA is doing all about. This laser is going on to the build plate, and then it is hitting. If you see the laser in my screen, that laser is hitting the build plate, and material gets solidified, and then it forms the object. This is how, see, the resin, which is a liquid form, because of the laser, a photo explosion, which is hitting to the build plate, and then it forms the object like this. If you see, this is a continuous printing which is on live, which is printing. This is how it happens. So there is a medium of liquid and laser hitting it, and then it's sticking to the solid. So here object is getting from layer by layer only, but it is inverted when you compare to FDM. FDM is building on the build plate. Here build plate is immersed into the build tank, and then it is forming the object. There are some printers which will be having SLA on other lines also, but this is the one which is having the layer by layer to form the object. So this is how the object will be coming out of the build plate. And then it is laser will be, this is a time-lapse video. Normally it will take more time. This is how it comes out of the build plate, and then it shows. So hope you got the clarity about what is happening with the resin. And also we should talk what is photopolymer and what exactly it happens, and what is happening inside that photopolymerization process and everything. See, all will tell that this is a very new technology and all. This is not at all a new technology. SLA is the one which is there from 1960s only, and it has been used in the coating and printing industry, and also in the dentistry they were using from long back. So photopolymerization or SLA or DLP, whatever we talk about, it is an old technology only. So how this happens, as I told you, radiation or a light source which is visible will be projected onto a photopolymer resin, and then it will be reacting to the photopolymerization, and then it will be forming the object. What is lights which we can use in SLA? We have multiple lights. We use ultraviolet rays, we have visible light, we have gamma rays, we have X-rays, we use electron beams. So there are so many other things which we or light rays which we use as a radiation or for this photopolymerization. And also how exactly it works. See, I just this is a chemical reaction all about, but to be in a clear perspective, to give a basic on it, I just want to show you how exactly it happens, and then how this photopolymer works. Actually, that polymerization is a combination of a lot of photoinitiator is one of the material, and also reactive dielectrons will be there, flexilizer will be there, stabilizers will be there, liquid monomers will be there. So this and all is the combination is called resin. We all talk about resin. Resin monomers. So all these materials will be there in that particular liquid. And then photo initiator is one of the major source, means that is a light photo initiator which will be reacting to the light. Means if you, for example, here and the second line I have mentioned, ultraviolet light, once it hit the photo initiator which is there in the resin, which will be reacts with the monomer, then the monomer then reacts and then reacts with the other monomers and then creates the polymer chain. So this to compare with the FDM and SLA, SLA has a stronger bond than comparing to the FDM. To have a more visibility on how this a monomer reacts in resin, I'll just show you a video which will be giving you this a small, just it's animation, just to understanding you more. Means the resin which will be there, which is having its monomers inside. And then once the light source, that light source which I have shown in the video, once that light source is coming into play, then the initiators inside this resin starts propagating and then initiation and then joins the monomer. And then it forms to the one more other bonding with the other monomer. You see the FDM strength versus SLA strength, it has a very high after the photopolymerization reaction and everything. More. Even though after you print, after you normally after you to get more strength, and then it will be giving more strength than the expected. So this CPDDM Usmania University has this SLA 3D system which is giving the output, and they have this SLA can be used. So hope you are getting me on this photopolymer reaction and these things. So as I gave the information basically, and also I should talk about what are the resins, what exactly these resins will be all about. So we have a lot of resins, standard resins, we have top resins, we have high temperature resins, we have and durable resins we have, and even we have castable resins, ceramic resins, and biocompatible resins. See, we have different purposes, for general purpose, for functional purpose, and application specific purposes. Because in dental we use it for the castable we use, and also we get dental material, and also wax also it is coming these days. And if you want a functional purpose of high strength and high temperature resistant resins are also coming in the market. So we have a lot of functionality based resins which are being right now used in the market for the different needs of the functionality. Example, for a high strength application or temperature application, different resins are used. So this is how my session will be now coming to the close. So I have another 10 minutes for the questions. Mohammed sir, can you please open open the session for the questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, participants,
Um,
you can ask any questions if you have regarding the scanners, regarding the FDM, SLA, regarding the Ender, or any resins, or any type of issues or queries you want to ask with the Rakesh sir, you can ask.
In chat box, I have seen few questions. In that,
What about the surface defects, voids, micro cracks while scanning? Mr. Ashok Kumar has asked that question earlier.
yes, sir. Ashok Kumar, sir, this surface defects and everything, scanning itself exposes you for the micro cracks. Even a small micro crack, which is a crack of 50 microns, and also we can get the defect. Normally, this use even scanning uses for this reverse engineering applications. We use this dimensional inspection and also crack recession.
Sir, how to overcome this thing, sir? If I find cracks in that one, we are done scanning by using this Eon Scan Pro 2X machine. We scanned one leaf, but we did not get exact geometry. So we faced problems for that.
Geometry in sense whether you could able to scan the complete geometry.
Yes, sir. We scanned all the geometry in that because we have pointed cloud points. So the cloud points which is converted into triangles. So in edges, it is not converted. So the generally we convert into the STL format, sir. In that STL format, we will be using this triangles procedure only, sir. Hello.
Triangulations only happens after the point cloud generation.
Okay, sir. My question is that how to avoid this micro cracks while scanning or voids or surface defects. So how to overcome that one?
So which type of
Yes.
scanner you have used?
Because after scanning, we'll took the file and we'll given to the FDM printer. So our PolyJet machine, we have printed the leaf structure on that one, but it is not showing exact geometry what we have scanned. There are some variations out there.
I'm not getting what exactly defect you observed, whether it is a crack or it is only joints or which you observed and which
Sir,
scanner you have used.
some parts, sir, we are going to micro level now, sir. You told about that micro level now, so we can scan into micro level. So in that micro level, we find some surface defects. So how to overcome that one?
See, surface defects in sense two things, sir. What is the size of the surface defect? For example, if you are taking the scanner, handheld scanning, and then you are doing the scanner, if you're doing the scanning, then your accuracy is 50 microns. For example, if your micro defect is below 50 microns and you have a propagation which is having 2 micron or 3 micron, then that can't be visible by the scanner, no, sir. So that cannot be detected by your scanner. So your defect, if your defect is above 50 microns or 30 microns or whatever the capability of the scanner is, then you can get that quality output from it, sir.
Okay.
If it is a micro defect, then why you are going for scanning, sir? You can go directly for the NDT testing where you can get more accurately than scanning.
Sir, I specified, I have scanned the leaf structure, not a metal structure. I have scanned the leaf structure, just I want to place the geometry on the metal structure.
Okay, sir. Leaf structure, you want to scan.
I can have an idea about before going for scanning, I can go for non-defects also by using NDT techniques. But so if non-linear geometry is like leaf structure, I'm asking for that.
Leaf structure, that's what, sir. Whatever the leaf structure is there, you can get the exact structure, and whatever the curvatures are there, it can easily see. Only thing is scanning can reach to the eye level, means whatever you are able to see with the eye, that can be scanned and then it can be taken out under the limitations of its accuracy. So if you go with the laser scanner, if you scan the leaf on the laser scanner, you can get more accuracy than the light scanner which we use. In the scanning video I have shown you, laser scanners have more accuracy levels than the major light sources which we talk about. And even if you have scanned with white light or blue light also come into play. And what are your boundary conditions, like your surface area, which light, under which light you have scanned is also a question. So a lot of factors which we have to consider, sir. Leaf normally we do regularly. Leaf we are able to scan it regularly, but you are telling that internal microstructures and all, I am not sure whether your thing is above 50 microns or 30 microns, then it can capture. The structures or else unevenness, or in my video also I have shown you on the wooden brick, wooden surface, if you have done slight curvatures also, it can capture, sir.
Sir, can I have your contact number? Can I have your contact number, sir?
Yeah, I will share it.
Or email ID also, so that we can interact, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? I've shared in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Any
you, sir.
questions? Any other questions? I have seen some questions. What about the density of printed word using FDM compared to the objects fabricated in casting or under pressure in a mold? What is the density of the object? See, density of the object in sense infill ratio, how much you keep, that strength or whatever. As the density is depending upon the infill, sir. Infill percentage we can change, and then we can get the object. Printed object in casting in a mold versus the printed object. Question is from Mr. Jaini JL. So from him or her, my answer is the strength or the density or whatever we talk in the terminology. 93% FDM printed part will be having versus the fabricated part in the casting or molding, sir. And the next question. Is there any difference in the scanned accuracy with the different scanner? I have already cleared this question, I believe.
Sir, have you used NEMA motor in the Ender, sir? That under FDM process you have shown the printing process is there. Have you used the NEMA motor or some other kind of motor, sir? Hello.
Hello.
Sir, which type of motor you have used in the Ender, sir? Either a NEMA motor or some other kind of stepper motor?
These are NEMA motors only, sir. We can go for NEMA, or else we have advanced turbo motors coming for the high speed movements. Turbo motors also we are using, sir.
Sir, most of the problems faced by the students while printing in that FDM Ender is the level of printing bed will be 0. So how to we're going to have the level, sir? How to set the bed level before starting printing?
Build plate issue you are talking about, sir?
Yes, sir. Building plate. So how to set that build plate before starting our actual printing, so that nozzle and the bed plate have relative motion.
And then you set the things. Try to use the bubble level and make sure your first initial bed is fitted properly. That's where the industrial or the technical guy differs from the student. Student normally sees a video and does it. While fitting the screws and nuts itself, then only the complete setup will be good. Ender is a semi-assembled printer which is coming in the market. You should be very careful. Try to use a bubble level and then start fitting it properly, so that you will get the quality output from it.
Sir, what
Okay.
glue stick, which type of glue stick will be better, sir, for to avoid sticking of objects in the bed plate?
See, two things. Always try to make your environment as closed as possible, because if it is exposed to AC, whatever you glue stick or anything you use on the build plate will not give any quality. First and foremost, you make sure your environment is not having the moisture content, and also it is so cold, because your build plate is having some temperature and material is falling from the nozzle with a temperature of 200 degrees and your environment is 30 degrees centigrade. Always, in our materials we learn sudden changes in the environment will change its nature, and then you have the material being changing its behavior. So I want your environment to be changed. And glue stick we use, Fevistick also we use, Fevikwik also sometimes we use, depending upon the surface, and then we stick to the build plate.
Okay, nice. Thank you, sir. You have clarified my doubt. Sir, one other question, which is more scanner friendly, parallel walls or tapered walls come in tooth preparation, also rounded internal angles or sharp angles, which is easier to scan. This question is asked from Jenny.
More scanner friendly, parallel walls or
in biomedical
this is with your naked eye, if you are able to, yeah. See, pipe internally it is hollow. Internally it is hollow. If it is internally it is hollow, it will reach up to some extent, and remaining it feels as a solid. So that's where, for example, see, your major thing, light will go into the toothbrush internal side ways also, because light is able to reach to the destiny until or unless it has a diffraction. It can capture all the area only from the point of light getting deflected. There the object is being formed. So it is a sharp angle or internal angles or whatever it is. The eye visibility and then light reaching to the destination is the more important perspective where you have to observe in the scanner, sir. Yeah.
So any other questions? Any other questions from the participants? So there is no other question, so we can conclude this session. Sir, once again I thank you for this demo session on FDM, SLA and 3D scanner. So from this we have learned different techniques, advantages and limitations of the 3D printers and multi-materials, and we have given an example of the bottle caps and various inputs for giving to the 3D printer, like which first we have to design the using softwares like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Rhino or other softwares for modeling of the SolidWorks in the various objects, or we can directly use the websites, Thingiverse or any other website to download the object and we can build. And the third, which is the most important here, which we have learned in detail, is 3D scanning by reverse engineering process. Then we have also said about the photopolymerization, how it will going to attract the materials, the polymers to build a product in the SLA process. And we have also talked about the various resins and different types of resins, functional and various other types of resins. And we have a wonderful session on the 3D printer PM. You have explained each and every point of that and the user, how you will going to have the 3D print, how to print the particular object, and various settings and process parameters, which is very most essential in printing a very good quality product. Depends on our requirement. So whether it has to be shell, whether we can have a very dense or percentage of infill, how much should be the percentage of infill and the density. Either we have to make the very dense product, or we have to make only the outer shells. So by changing various settings, layers. And one of the most important part I thought in that is travel. So if you want to build number of objects in the same build, so the distance or the travel between the one component to the other has to be minimized. So for that setting, that is the most important parameter in the Cura software. So by this, I once again thank Mr. Rakesh Kopanur, MS VSD 3D Hyderabad, for giving a wonderful and memorable session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mohammed sir. And also, whatever the session I have given is a preliminary session into the deep settings and everything. Maybe the future speakers are talking about, but medical perspective of the settings versus the engineering perspective of the settings of Cura software are a bit different. I have covered the basic engineering perspective, and medical perspective. I think the next speaker.
Sure, sir. Some other doctors are available for that. Okay, no problem,
Yes,
sir. Thank
they
you.
will be taking care of those things.
Yes, sure.
So thank you, sir. Thank you, Lord's College team and team of professors and lecturers at college. And thank you for giving me a time to give you spare my knowledge to you people.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, participants. Hope you have enjoyed my session. Thank you. Thank you very much.